Avoid dialysis. 8 common veggies destroying your kidneys. 2 patients, similar age, similar kidney function, following similar healthy diets. 1 patient's labs stay stable for years. The other's creatinine creeps up, his potassium spikes, and before he knows it, he's having serious conversations about dialysis. What's the difference? Often, it comes down to one hidden variable that many people never think to track. Not just which vegetables they're eating, but which specific ones, prepared in which specific ways. Vegetables aren't a monolithic category. Some are gentle even when you have chronic kidney disease, or CKD for short. Others, even ones with glowing health reputations, can silently deliver a concentrated burden that overwhelmed kidneys simply can't handle. And the margin between safe choice and risky choice can be smaller than you think. Today, we're lifting the curtain on that hidden variable. We're counting down 8 common vegetables that carry overlooked risks for kidney health. Risks that have nothing to do with pesticides or GMOs, but everything to do with the very minerals that make them nutritious for healthy kidneys, but challenging for vulnerable ones. Not to create fear, but to create informed choices. Because knowledge is what transforms restriction into strategy. Before we start, we're curious. Have you ever left a doctor's appointment with advice to eat more vegetables, but felt completely lost about which ones are actually safe for your kidneys? Or maybe you're following a list but aren't sure why certain vegetables are on it. Share your experience in the comments below. We read every single one, and chances are your confusion is exactly what dozens of others are feeling too. Just so you know, everything in this video is grounded in peer-reviewed research, completely free from marketing bias or miracle cure claims. We've sifted through the science so you can make smart, informed decisions about your health. Before we dive in, a crucial note. This video is educational content designed to help you have informed conversations with your healthcare team. Everyone's kidney function, lab values, and health conditions are unique. The recommendations here lean toward caution, especially for those with stage 3 to 5 CKD or a history of kidney stones. If you're in earlier stages with normal labs, these vegetables aren't necessarily off limits, but understanding their risks helps everyone make wiser choices. Throughout this video, we'll be crystal clear about which veggies or preparation methods work for which CKD stage, what amounts are generally considered safe, and when you absolutely need your nephrologist's guidance. 8. Artichokes. Artichoke is celebrated, and rightly so, as a champion for liver health, packed with compounds that help protect and detoxify. The paradox is that this very same liver hero can become a kidney villain. The issue here is potassium. A single cup of cooked artichoke hearts can contain up to 480 milligrams of potassium. To put that in context, that's roughly the same amount as a medium-sized banana, hidden away in a sophisticated side dish where you'd least expect it. The number places artichokes as a high potassium food by kidney health standards. Anything over 200 milligrams per serving earns that designation. Studies show that severely high levels of potassium in the blood, what doctors call hyperkalemia, poses serious risks to heart health. This condition can cause life-threatening heart rhythm problems and sudden death. Research indicates the death rate for untreated severe hyperkalemia can exceed 30%, with the adjusted odds of death increasing up to 32-fold depending on the severity of kidney disease. This typically affects those with advanced CKD, whose bodies can no longer regulate potassium effectively. And this isn't a fringe idea. It's a well-documented concern among renal specialists. Leading kidney health authorities like the National Kidney Foundation, NKF, explicitly include artichokes on their list of high-potassium foods to be managed carefully. For fresh artichokes, boiling is far more effective at reducing potassium than steaming. Stage 3 patients should treat artichokes as an occasional garnish rather than a side dish. Think 1/4 cup of hearts, thoroughly rinsed if canned, as a flavorful addition rather than the main event. For stage 4 to 5 CKD, or those managing elevated potassium, artichokes become a special occasion food at best, requiring careful calculation against your daily potassium budget. The liver benefits are real, but if your kidneys are struggling, they must take priority. Balance, not elimination. That's the wisdom here. 7. Celery. You can see this modern wellness icon everywhere. Celery in the bright green juice promising to cleanse, detox, and hydrate. It's presented as the epitome of clean living. But it's time to call this trend what it really is. Not a health elixir, but a high oxalate trap. Hidden beneath that fresh image is an alarming 190 milligrams of oxalate and 260 milligrams of potassium per 100 grams, a concentration that places it among the most notorious kidney culprits. But here's where the real danger emerges. Celery juice. One glass typically uses 4 to 5 stalks, concentrating 1,040 to 1,300 milligrams of potassium and 760 to 950 milligrams of oxalate into a single drink. For stage 4 CKD patients limited to 2,000 milligrams potassium daily, one juice consumes over half that budget while delivering 15 to 20 times the safe daily oxalate limit. The whole stalk in a salad? Manageable. The trendy juice? A kidney stone and hyperkalemia waiting to happen. We've already discussed how concentrated potassium overwhelms weakened kidneys. And how about oxalates? In normal amounts, your body handles them fine. But when oxalates flood your system in concentrated amounts, they can bind with calcium in your urine, forming calcium oxalate crystals, the most common type of kidney stone. Studies show that about 80% of kidney stones are calcium oxalate stones, and high oxalate intake is a major contributing factor. Celery juice, as we mentioned, contains a massive concentrated load of oxalate. This isn't a gentle cleanse. It's a chemical process that's practically begging for crystals to form. This brings us to a simple guidance. Eat your celery, don't drink it. For stages 1 to 3 CKD with no history of kidney stones, enjoy celery stalks as part of a varied diet. Perhaps 2 to 3 stalks in a salad or with hummus is generally safe. However, if you've had calcium oxalate kidney stones at any stage, even early stage CKD, celery's high oxalate content makes it a food to minimize. For stage 4 to 5 patients, the combined oxalate and potassium load makes celery a food to avoid entirely. Remember, the whole food in moderation as part of a meal, that's the kidney-safe approach. It's important to keep perspective here. These risks primarily affect those with existing kidney vulnerability or stone history. For someone with healthy kidneys, even the high-risk vegetables we're discussing are generally well tolerated in normal portions. The key is understanding your specific situation. Are your kidneys filtering at 60% capacity, 30%, or 15%? That number changes everything. And hey, if this feels helpful so far, let us know you're out there by tapping that like button. It tells us to keep making content just like this. 6. Eggplant. It makes perfect sense to see eggplant as a healthy choice. It's versatile, low in calories, and fits into almost any diet. What's less known, however, is that eggplant carries a subtle, two-pronged risk from both potassium and oxalate. Let's examine a realistic portion. 1 cup of cooked eggplant, roughly 200 grams. Raw. This amount would contain about 458 milligrams potassium and 40 milligrams oxalate. Here's where preparation transforms risk. Boiling can reduce the potassium content to approximately 246 milligrams. While that's a 46% reduction, 246 milligrams still classifies as high. Anything over 200 milligrams earns that label. The oxalate content tells an equally important story. About 40 milligrams per cup of cooked eggplant. For individuals managing calcium oxalate kidney stones, the recommended daily oxalate limit is just 40 to 50 milligrams total. A single cup of eggplant essentially maxes out that entire daily budget. Eat a more typical 1.5 to 2 cup serving, think eggplant parmesan or a hearty curry, and you're looking at 60 to 80 milligrams oxalate, potentially 120 to 160% over your safe limit. So, who can safely enjoy eggplant and in what amounts? For those in early stages like stage 1 to 2 CKD with normal potassium labs, properly cooked eggplant in moderate portions of about 1/2 to 1 cup per meal is generally well tolerated. If you're in stage 3, the boiling method we discussed becomes more important, and keeping portions to about 1/2 cup per meal is wise. For stage 4 to 5 CKD or anyone managing elevated potassium levels, eggplant should be an occasional food rather than a regular one. Now, what is the best way to enjoy eggplant while keeping your kidneys safe? Instead of frying it, which absorbs a lot of oil, it's time to upgrade your cooking method. Try roasting it with herbs until it's tender and caramelized, or grilling it for a smoky flavor. 5. Swiss chard. Swiss chard is a vegetable praised for its beauty and nutritional benefits. But a more accurate description for this veggie might be double-edged sword. While offering genuine nutritional benefits for healthy individuals, it presents multiple challenges for vulnerable kidneys. 1 cup of cooked Swiss chard packs a devastating 961 milligrams of potassium, 650 to 900 milligrams of oxalate, and 313 milligrams of sodium. To put that potassium number into perspective, let's break a common myth. We're often told to watch our banana intake, but a single serving of Swiss chard contains the potassium equivalent of 2 large bananas. It's an astonishing amount of potassium hidden in a food few people would ever suspect. The oxalates rivals or exceeds spinach, firmly placing it in the very high category. Even the sodium, 313 milligrams, consumes 15% of the 2,000 milligrams daily limit most kidney patients follow. This is the definition of a nutrient bomb that overwhelms compromised kidneys on multiple fronts simultaneously. When facing a multi-front war from potassium, sodium, and oxalate, the only winning move is not to play. Unlike other vegetables that can be managed, the risk here is too high. The guidance here is more cautious across the board. For stage 1 to 2 CKD patients with normal labs and no stone history, an occasional small serving, about 1/4 to 1/2 cup cooked, might be acceptable, but this isn't a vegetable to eat regularly due to its oxalate content. For stage 3 CKD, the risks begin to outweigh the benefits. Safer greens like romaine or kale offer quite similar nutrition without the burden. For stage 4 to 5 CKD, or anyone managing hyperkalemia or a history of calcium oxalate stones, Swiss chard is best avoided completely. Why take the gamble when safer options exist? 4. Rhubarb. Rhubarb seems like a staple of springtime desserts, celebrated for its tart flavor in pies and jams. After the last few vegetables, you might be bracing for another story about potassium. But what if the real villain here was something else entirely? Rhubarb's primary threat isn't potassium at all. It's a far more aggressive compound, oxalate. Now, 1/2 cup of diced rhubarb stalks, about 100 grams, contains 288 milligrams potassium, 500 to 1,000 milligrams oxalate. While the potassium is moderate, that oxalate concentration is staggering. At the high end, rhubarb delivers double spinach's already extreme levels. A typical pie serving using 1 to 1.5 cups of cooked rhubarb translates to 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams oxalate, or 20 to 30 times the safe daily limit. Again, when you consume too much oxalate, it can cause sharp, needle-like calcium oxalate crystals to form inside your kidney's delicate tubules. This isn't just a burden, it's a physical blockage, literally clogging the system and causing severe, rapid damage. A 2012 cautionary case published in BMC Nephrology describes a 52-year-old woman with type 1 diabetes who experienced acute kidney injury, or AKI for short, after consuming approximately 500 milligrams of fresh rhubarb daily for 4 weeks, equivalent to roughly 2.3 grams of oxalate per day. Her kidney function dropped dramatically, with her eGFR, a key measure of how well kidneys filter waste, plummeting from normal levels, more than 60 milliliters per minute, to just 13.3 milliliters per minute. Importantly, she had underlying kidney vulnerability, mild diabetic nephropathy with microalbuminuria, though her kidney function had been normal before the rhubarb consumption. This wasn't just about rhubarb. It was about the combination of high-dose, prolonged daily consumption, and vulnerable kidneys. Rhubarb requires a nuanced approach based on your kidney function and stone history. For stage 1 to 2 CKD patients with no history of kidney stones, occasional use in desserts, perhaps once a month, can be safe. If you're in stage 3 or have any history of calcium oxalate stones, rhubarb should be a rare indulgence at most, maybe once or twice a year, and only with meticulous preparation. For stage 4 to 5 CKD, the acute oxalate toxicity risk simply isn't worth it. This is one food to cross off your list entirely. If you still choose rhubarb, always peel the stalks, as a high concentration of oxalates is found in the skin. Boil the rhubarb in plenty of water for at least 3 to 5 minutes, then discard that water completely. Studies show boiling can reduce soluble oxalates by 30 to 87% depending on the vegetable, with research on rhubarb specifically demonstrating a 49% reduction in soluble oxalates when cooked in plain water. The key is using enough water to allow the oxalates to leach out effectively. Studies confirm nearly 100% of the lost oxalates end up in the cooking water, which is why discarding it is essential. For even better results, some research suggests cooking rhubarb with milk can reduce soluble oxalates by up to 65 to 75%, as the calcium in milk binds with oxalates to form insoluble compounds. Plus, always pair rhubarb with a calcium-rich food like yogurt, milk, cheese, or cream. The calcium binds to the remaining oxalates in your gut, preventing them from ever reaching your kidneys. Eat them together in the same meal, not hours apart. Curious about the science behind it all? We've linked the studies that support everything we've shared. You'll find them down in the description box. 3. Acorn and butternut squash. This is a true icon of comfort food. Winter squash. Just the name evokes images of crisp autumn air and holiday gatherings. It's the flavor of Thanksgiving, a warm, nourishing presence on the family dinner table that feels both wholesome and safe. But here's an important distinction that many people miss. Not all winter squash are created equal when it comes to potassium. The potassium content varies significantly between types. A cup of cooked butternut squash contains 582 milligrams of potassium, which is already high. But acorn squash packs a much bigger potassium punch at 896 milligrams per cup, putting it firmly in high potassium territory that requires caution for those managing kidney disease. Compare this to spaghetti squash. Just 181 milligrams potassium per cup, making it nearly 5 times safer than acorn squash. This matters because many recipes and dietary recommendations simply say winter squash without specifying which type. Winter squash varieties require different strategies depending on your CKD stage and the specific type. For stage 1 to 2, even butternut or acorn squash in moderate portions, about 1/2 cup, can fit into your diet, though tracking your total daily potassium is still smart. For stage 3 to 5 CKD, butternut and acorn squash are simply too potassium dense to fit safely into your restricted diet. The beautiful thing? Spaghetti squash offers that same satisfying texture and can be seasoned to deliver similar warmth and comfort. For another great option, summer squashes like zucchini offer all the versatility with a much lower potassium risk. 2. Rutabaga. Now, for many health-conscious people, you might wonder, does anyone actually use mashed rutabaga as a potato substitute? The answer is yes, particularly among low-carb dieters who appreciate its lower glycemic index. For kidney patients, however, this swap isn't kidney-friendly. A cup of cooked rutabaga contains approximately 554 milligrams of potassium, not quite as high as a russet potato's 620 to 628 milligrams, but still substantial enough that the NKF groups rutabaga with potatoes, sweet potatoes, and beets as vegetables that are high in potassium. If you're looking for a true lower potassium alternative to mashed potatoes, cauliflower mash, providing about 176 milligrams per cup, is the genuinely safer choice that kidney dietitians actually recommend. While rutabaga might work for someone managing blood sugar, it's not the kidney protective swap. But the problem runs deeper than just potassium. 1 cup of cooked mashed rutabaga delivers 60 to 80 milligrams of oxalate, exceeding the entire 40 to 50 milligrams daily limit for stone formers by 50 to 100%. This dual risk profile means you're navigating both potassium mines and oxalate mines simultaneously. If you choose to eat rutabaga, a double boiling technique is necessary to reduce potassium, and you must pair it with a calcium-rich food to bind the oxalates. For stage 1 to 2 CKD patients with no stone history and normal potassium labs, rutabaga can be an occasional substitute for potatoes, say once or twice a week in 1/2 cup portions, if you use the double boiling method and pair it with calcium-rich foods. Stage 3 patients should consider whether the effort is worth it. Double boiling helps, but safer alternatives like cauliflower mash offer similar comfort without the complicated preparation. For stage 4 to 5 CKD or anyone managing both hyperkalemia and calcium oxalate stones, rutabaga simply isn't worth the dual risk. Your kidney health requires choosing battles wisely, and this isn't one to fight. 1. Sweet potatoes. For decades, sweet potato has been crowned as the king of healthy starches, a superfood wrapped in a commanding health halo. It represents safety, nutrition, and making the perfect choice for your body. So what makes this beloved superfood the #1 threat? In a word, potassium. A single cup of baked sweet potato with skin contains approximately 540 to 570 milligrams of potassium. For context, that's nearly 1/3 of the 2,000 milligrams daily limit recommended for many stage 4 to 5 CKD patients. For healthy kidneys, this is manageable. But for significantly compromised kidneys, particularly stage 4 to 5 CKD, it represents a serious burden. Moreover, the same serving delivers 97 milligrams of phosphorus, taking 10 to 12% of your 800 to 1,000 milligrams budget. Even the oxalate at 50 to 60 milligrams exceeds the safe daily limit. But here's the critical detail that makes this even more dangerous. Dried sweet potatoes concentrate potassium dramatically. A 2022 case series published in Internal Medicine documented 2 Japanese patients with CKD who developed potentially life-threatening cardiac arrhythmias after consuming dried sweet potato. Dried sweet potato contains 980 milligrams of potassium per 100 grams, translating to approximately 1,200 to 1,570 milligrams per cup. In a healthy person, blood potassium stays between 3.5 to 5.0. Doctors consider anything above 6.0 a medical emergency requiring immediate treatment. The first patient, a 78-year-old man on dialysis, ate 300 grams of dried sweet potato over 2 days. When he arrived at the emergency room feeling dizzy, his potassium had climbed to 8.3. His heart rate had plummeted to 32 beats per minute, less than half of normal, and his heart's electrical system was failing. The second patient, a 70-year-old woman with kidney disease, thought she was being moderate, just 100 grams of dried sweet potato daily. After a month, she developed nausea and vomiting. Her potassium measured 7.0, and her electrocardiogram showed what cardiologists call a sine-wave pattern. Wide, bizarre-looking heartbeats that signal the heart is about to stop. Both patients survived only because they received aggressive emergency treatment involving dialysis. The key insight here isn't that sweet potatoes are dangerous for everyone, but that for those with advanced CKD, especially stage 4 to 5 or anyone on dialysis, concentrated forms and large portions can overwhelm an already struggling system. For stage 1 to 2 CKD with good potassium control, a small sweet potato serving, about 3 to 4 ounces prepared using the double boiling method, can be an occasional treat. The double boiling method involves peeling, slicing, soaking, and then boiling in a large pot of fresh water. First, peel the sweet potato completely since the skin concentrates potassium. Cut into 1/4-inch slices or small cubes for maximum surface area. Soak in cold water for at least 2 to 4 hours, changing the water once halfway through. Then, boil in a large pot with at least 10 cups of water per cup of sweet potato for 10 minutes. Drain completely, add fresh water, and boil again for another 10 minutes. This double boil process can reduce potassium by 50 to 75%, transforming a high-risk food into a manageable one. But regular consumption isn't wise even at early stages. For stage 3 and beyond, even double-boiled sweet potatoes represent too great a risk. Takeaway. In the end, what we've uncovered today isn't just a list of foods to fear. It's a deeper truth about our relationship with food. It's the powerful realization that knowledge allows us to move from anxiety to action. The ultimate lesson is that for so many of these foods, the most important question isn't if you can eat them, but how you prepare them. One final, essential reminder. This video is a starting point for understanding, not a replacement for personalized medical care. Your kidney disease journey is unique, influenced by your CKD stage, your lab results, your medications, and your other health conditions. What works for someone in stage 2 with normal potassium might be dangerous for someone in stage 4 with hyperkalemia. Before restricting or reintroducing any of these vegetables, please consult your nephrologist or renal dietitian. They can help you create a meal plan that's not just safe, but optimized for your specific situation. Knowledge is power, but guidance from your healthcare team is wisdom. Now, we would be honored to hear from you. This journey is one we take together as a community. Which of the vegetables on our list surprised you the most? Please share your story in the comments below. Every experience is a source of wisdom and encouragement for everyone here, and we read every single one. We want to thank you for being here, for listening, for having the courage to embark on this journey of discovering what truly benefits your health. A journey that isn't easy but is worth more than anything else. Hit the bell icon and turn on all notifications so you never miss a life-saving video. The sooner you spot kidney issues, the more you can do to keep things under control. If you're unsure about your kidney health and haven't been in a good shape recently, check out the video on the screen. Here, we cover all the possible symptoms, helping you spot kidney failure and take action effectively if needed. See you there. Stay informed, stay healthy,